You're listening to the Cyberwire Network, powered by N2K.
Worried about cyber attacks? CyberCare from Storm Guidance is a comprehensive cyber incident response and resilience service that helps you stay prepared and protected. A unique onboarding process integrates your team with industry-leading experts, so if an incident occurs, your response is optimal. Get priority access to deeply experienced responders, digital investigators, legal and crisis PR experts, ransom negotiators, trauma counselors, and much more. The best part? 100% of unused response time can be repurposed for a range of proactive resilience activities. Find out more at cyber.care/cyberwire. Hello everyone and welcome to the CyberWire's Research Saturday. I'm Dave Bittner, and this is our weekly conversation with researchers and analysts tracking down the threats and vulnerabilities, solving some of the hard problems and protecting ourselves in a rapidly evolving cyberspace. Thanks for joining us.
Mustang Panda has Chinese origin, traditionally targets government-related entities, military entities, minority groups, and NGOs primarily located in East Asia.
That's Deepan Desai, Zscaler's Chief Security Officer and EVP of Cyber and AI Engineering. Today, we're looking into their recent work on Mustang Panda's latest campaigns.
There were a couple instances where we also saw them targeting entities in Europe. But the research that we will talk about today is where our analysis started with a couple machines that were targeted in Myanmar region. And then as part of that analysis, we discovered a lot of new things.
Well, let's dig into it together here. I mean, as you mentioned, something prompted your group's attention and interest here. Can you take us through that story? What grabbed your attention and where did it lead?
Yeah, so there were a couple machines that we were securing that were going through, that were based out of Myanmar. And this is where we saw new backdoor, actually a backdoor that was updated by Mustang Panda. The name of the backdoor is Tone Shell. The updates that we noticed were changes to its fake TLS, command and control communication protocol, as well as some of the methods for creating and storing the infected machine identifiers. Right? So that was one that the team noticed as part of the analysis of the payload. The second thing was a new discovery. This is where the team actually discovered a new lateral movement tool used by Mustang Panda that we have named Star Proxy. Again, it leverages fake TLS protocol to proxy traffic and facilitate attacker communication, but the main objective of the tool is to perform lateral propagation in the environment.
Well, let's dig into Tone Shell first. What are some of the technical details here? My understanding is that this latest version has enhanced capabilities or even stealth.
Yeah, so Tone Shell variant that we saw in this case is definitely more stealthier. It has undergone updated command and control communication protocols. And again, that is through fake TLS headers and the encryption methods that they're using. So fake TLS, for those that don't know, that basically it imitates to be a real TLS traffic. And the goal over there is to basically disguise the protocol and try to evade detection. And then they will leverage some form of encryption, which is what we saw in this case as well, to, again, avoid any kind of pattern-based detection engines that are trying to fingerprint this command and control protocol.
Interesting. Well, let's talk about Star Proxy. I mean, how does it function within Mustang Pandas operations here?
So Star Proxy, as I mentioned earlier, definitely a new tool for lateral movement. It does act as a relay and allows the attacker to use the compromised systems to reach adjacent devices that are harder for the attacker to access directly. Right? So this is where they will target the users or the identity of interest. And the assumption is from their machine, they're able to get to the access that they need because these access are often not publicly exposed either. So this is where Star Proxy tool is being leveraged by the attacker to perform that lateral propagation to the device of interest.
I see. So in terms of evasion techniques, what kind of methods does Mustang Panda use to evade detection with these new tools?
So one of them I mentioned, this is where imitating TLS-like traffic, that's one. Custom encryption methods, that's another. They also support the Tone Shell variant 2 also supports DLL code injection. Now, this is where basically they will inject the code and it will run as part of a legitimate process and perform the activity. Now, DLL injection is not new. It's often easy for EDRs and antivirus to detect. But this is where we also saw a few more tools which Mustang Panda is leveraging to maintain persistence. So the tools are a couple keyloggers, PAKLOG, CorKLOG, and then a specific evasion tool called SplatCloak. This is what it uses to disable some of the functionality of the EDR that will catch what I just described earlier.
Interesting. And who are they targeting here? What organizations or sectors seem to be in their sights?
So their typical targets are government-related entities, military entities, at times minority groups, NGOs, and again, the location is East Asia.
We'll be right back. And now a word from our sponsor, SpyCloud. Identity is the new battleground, and attackers are exploiting stolen identities to infiltrate your organization. Traditional defenses can't keep up. SpyCloud's holistic identity threat protection helps security teams uncover and automatically remediate hidden exposures across your users, from breaches, malware, and phishing to neutralize identity-based threats like account takeover, fraud, and ransomware. Don't let invisible threats compromise your business. Get your free corporate darknet exposure report at spycloud.com/cyberwire and see what attackers already know. That's spycloud.com/cyberwire. Hey everybody, Dave here. I've talked about Delete Me before, and I'm still using it because it still works. It's been a few months now, and I'm just as impressed today as I was when I signed up. Delete Me keeps finding and removing my personal information from data broker sites, and they keep me updated with detailed reports, so I know exactly what's been taken down. I'm genuinely relieved knowing my privacy isn't something I have to worry about every day. The Delete Me team handles everything. It's the set it and forget it peace of mind. And it's not just for individuals. Delete Me also offers solutions for businesses, helping companies protect their employees' personal information and reduce exposure to social engineering and phishing threats. And right now, our listeners get a special deal, 20% off your Delete Me plan. Just go to joindeleteme.com/N2K and use promo code N2K at checkout. That's joindeleteme.com/N2K, code N2K. So Mustang Panda's activities seem to be espionage focused as opposed to making money?
That is correct.
Yeah. Let's talk about detection and mitigation here. What are your recommendations for organizations to protect themselves?
I mean, one thing that is becoming more and more clear, even on the crimeware side, as we see today, all of these bad guys are following. If I were to simplify, 4 stages uh, of attack over and over again. Number one is where they find you. This is where they're discovering your external attack surface, whether it's any of your assets that are exposed to the internet or a user identity that they want to go after. So that's basically identifying your attack surface. The second stage is where they will compromise that initially identified asset or identity or a user machine. And in that, they will use several tooling. The third stage is, well, they will move laterally, as was evident in case of this analysis that we published as well. We've seen Cobalt Stripe, we've seen many other post-exploitation tooling used. In this case, we saw a new one, Star Proxy, being leveraged. So they will attempt to move laterally from that initially compromised asset. And then the last stage in majority of these scenarios, even in case of espionage, will be to steal data, right? Whether it is selective data or bulk data that they will try to exfil out of the victim organization. So with those 4 stages in mind, this is where the defense in depth becomes important. Yes, we saw them disabling EDR in this case, or EDR functionality, but EDR is still very important. But at the same time, having a solution that is inspecting with full TLS inspection at network layer is equally important. That's where we, as Zscaler, help organization with Zscaler Zero Trust Exchange, where we're terminating TLS, we're inspecting payloads, we're detonating payloads in controlled environments like Sandbox. And then we also help minimize that lateral propagation risk with proper segmentation getting implemented. So having that segmentation implemented is equally important because users will make mistake. One of the asset may get compromised. And then the final piece is you need to inspect everything that egresses your environment, your machines, your servers for potential data exfiltration. This is where having an inline DLP solution with full TLS inspection is very important.
How do you rate Mustang Panda in terms of their level of sophistication?
They are, with the tooling that we saw in this, the sophistication continues to get better. Right? They're trying to become more and more stealthier. They're trying to also disable controls on the endpoint. That way they are able to persist longer. So I would say they're improving.
I guess it's fair to say that if nothing else, they're well-resourced.
They are well-resourced, yes.
Yeah. So in terms of takeaways for the security professionals in the audience, what sorts of things do you hope they come away with after checking out your research here?
Yeah, look, number one thing is, like I described earlier, both crimeware and nation-state actors, they will get in from one vector or the other, but that their main goal is to get to that privileged or your crown jewel system where the information that your brand really cares about exists. So making sure you have that zero trust strategy everywhere implemented will be critical to protect that crown jewel information. The second thing that I would call out is while we didn't see direct use of AI over here, we are starting to see AI being leveraged across the board by crimeware actors. We even saw that in the recent Blackbuster leak, how they're actively discussing leveraging AI across the attack stages. So the second point that I'll call out for the defender is, while there is no AI solution that completely replaces us, security professional, and I don't see that happening in near future, we must leverage AI to fight AI. And this is where it helps us become more efficient, improve our efficacy, and help us deal with scaled information.
Help me understand, you and your colleagues at Zscaler, when you're looking at a group like Mustang Panda, how do you go about measuring their success rate, being able to have a view on how many attempts they're making, how many of those attempts are being thwarted, and what methods are successful on their end, the places that they get in, and then where they get stopped along the way? How do you all measure that?
So our visibility does come from our Zscaler Zero Trust Exchange. So as I described, our main goal is to connect entity A to entity B and to do that securely. So when a nation state threat actor or a crimeware operator manages to compromise a machine and then they're trying to do certain things, we have several advanced controls like sandboxing, where we'll capture a payload and detonate it. In this case, many of the payloads, we have full detonation report that kind of flags some of the activity it would do on the endpoint. Then we have controls like deception. So these are honeypots that are deployed pretending to be real application in the environment. That does help flag a lot of these hands-on keyboard activity, because as we saw in this case as well, the star proxy is just providing access to a remote threat actor to perform that lateral propagation. Now, if we are able to capture them in one of the decoys, again, we are able to contain that asset from doing any kind of lateral propagation. So there are a lot of these advanced proactive controls that are part of Zscaler Zero Trust Exchange, which helps thwart these attacks, but then it also provides signals to our global research team and we basically leverage that learning to share with the community and as well as our customers.
Our thanks to Deepan Desai, Zscaler's Chief Security Officer, for joining us. The research follows Mustang Panda's latest campaign. We'll have a link in the show notes. This episode was produced by Liz Stokes. We're mixed by Elliot Peltzman and Trey Hester. Our executive producer is Jennifer Iben. Peter Kilpie is our publisher, and I'm Dave Bittner. Thanks for listening. We'll see you back here next time.